Welcome, Avanti. We are thrilled to have you as a part of our GHRC Know Your Member talk show. Your journey of over 2 decades in leadership development, spanning Hong Kong, Shanghai, and India, is truly inspiring. As the founder and CEO of Conscious Together, your mission to tackle workplace loneliness and foster mindful leadership resonates deeply in today's evolving work environment. We are eager to learn more about your experiences, insights, and vision for the future. So let's dive in.
Ritika, thank you so much for the generous welcome. I am thrilled to be part of this ongoing relationship with GHRC. I am looking forward to be part of a network of people who are working towards enhancing human intelligence and sort of bringing us all together. So thank you for that. I will start with my introduction. I am Avanti Bammanhalli. I am from Bangalore, and I have been part of a adventure, so to say, which has taken me to different countries, but also got me working experience with the realities of workplace disconnection. We all are in the same place, but we're so disconnected from each other. And having gone through something similar myself, I felt like it was time to take steps in a way that address that issue. So my journey starts from India, where I worked for a few years and then moved to Shanghai, went to Hong Kong, where I continued working in the L&D spectrum. I did a little bit of performance management and talent management for international companies, but then also continued to learn and professionally develop my skills. So I did my master's from University of Hong Kong, and I continued my coaching and psychology journey. So I'm now a counseling psychologist. I am a coach and founder of Conscious Together, alongside a mom of 2 boys. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much, Avanti. What inspired you to focus on tackling workplace loneliness and fostering mindful leadership? Was there a specific moment or an experience that shaped this vision?
I believe that every leader's role is much bigger than we know. Every leader's actions, said and unsaid, uh, characteristics affect everyone around them. And I think mindful leadership begins with helping people connect with each other in meaningful ways. And the root of what we see today in research, according to what we see in terms of loneliness, it has shown that people feel purposeless. They feel like they're in a rut, in a routine, and they don't feel like they're part of a bigger vision. And when people are feeling this way, they will not be productive, they will not be creative, they will feel disconnected, and negativity then starts to grow in the organization. And where it all begins is, I think, the relationship between employees and leaders. And this is where I think if we delve into a little bit more of how we can be mindful of our connections with each other, we have capacity to collaborate in very meaningful and creative ways.
So I also asked if there was a specific moment or an experience that led you to mindfulness leadership.
Mhm. I think there has been a series of such instances. There's not been one. And I mean, I can remember that when I was, out and about during a burnout that I went through a few years ago. It was right after my second child. And that burnout led me to believe that I need that sense of connection, even at the workplace. I don't have to be best friends, but I cannot continue to feel disconnected because we spend so much time there at work. And we are social beings. We are meant to be wired to be connected. And if we don't feel like we are accepted and we belong in our workspaces, um, it's going to obviously add to the other stresses that we have in our lives. So I believe that, yes, there could be one or two that I can mention and pinpoint, but really it has been something that I thought about. I mean, an environment needs to be changed for it to be healthy so that people can feel like they belong. So that's a longish answer to your question.
Okay. Yeah, actually, it matters the environment that we work in. So, how people are around and how they are treating each other,
Yes.
it definitely matters a lot.
And how do you feel? Now I'm asking you a question back, but how does it feel to be respected and feel like you matter at your workplace?
Firstly, it is motivating.
Yeah.
Being a fresher, I think when we know somebody values us at the workplace, it is
Yeah.
motivating for us. And secondly, again, the value chain, it'll add a lot of confidence in us. I can
Yes.
say somebody is trusting us over the work, then
Yeah.
it will kind of give me a feeling that, okay, I might be good at this, and that's why they are assigning this to me. So yeah, a
Brilliant.
couple of things. It does help.
I would agree. And yes, I think holding positive expectations for people we work with so closely, trusting them and believing them, no matter what, I think are important traits and not very easily found in our workplaces today. So, um, yeah, that's why I think this is an important question to address.
Okay, so my next question to you is, how do you see mindfulness influencing leadership in today's fast-paced corporate world? Can you share an example where mindful leadership made a significant impact?
Hmm. So I have worked with some leaders who've either had judgment issues, that they have been very judgmental about their workforce. Um, they say, my team doesn't work well. I don't agree with them. They are not competent. They don't know what we need. And there have been a couple of people who've been very angry because of this. They expect a lot more. They don't like what the team is putting out. And so, this concept of judgment and frustration at what the team is unable to do has led them to become more and more assertive in a way that is not respected by their teams any longer. And that dynamic of push and pull creates a conflict which doesn't work well for anybody. And I believe that our interventions with these leaders have helped them in a way that they address their underlying issues in terms of what brings them anger, what brings them judgment. And then through mindfulness, and of course, we have regular activities, but we also have team building days where we could spend time working on their more core beliefs. So, based on what we offer, they are able to work back on their beliefs and look at what is triggering these emotions to be able to then address them, one on their own, but as well with their teams. And there is a natural shift of power and balance, um, which brings health back to the team, which is a very important criteria for cooperation and competence. Do you have any other questions about that? You seem to be.
Mm, I have a question, but I don't know how do I put it. So, is it something that only leaders should be careful about, or even the team members? Or how is that going to work?
I love that you picked it up so quickly. Ritika, so let me ask you this. What do you think?
Um, it should be both the ways, but I think maximum should be taken care by the leaders. because how they treat their team members is how the team member turn out to be.
Right. Oh, wow. I think what you're saying is more powerful than the interview you're doing with me, Ritika, at this point. I think
Yes.
the aha that you're getting at this point is fantastic because what are we doing here? We realize that we're affecting our outcomes at every time. And we're realizing that people put expectations on us, which then we are not able to shake off because we are used to always looking outside of what is expected of us. But
Right.
with mindfulness practices, if we start looking inward to say, I know this is what everyone else around me expects it from me, but I am not like that. I need to continue working in a way that presents my best self to the team, even when the team is not trusting of me. And that there are ways that I can address this issue in a constructive way, not go around gossiping, talking behind my manager's back, because those are really not helping anybody. It doesn't help the manager, it doesn't help me, and the poor person, the friend in between, it doesn't help them either. So, what are ways that we can bridge the gap and start having deeper, more difficult conversations? That is what mindfulness helps us do. So, thank you for really bringing this out. I really appreciate that.
So, workplace loneliness is a unique challenge. What are some effective strategies you have found for helping leaders and team building meaningful connections?
I think, you know, though the consequence is so big, I mean, we've just gone through the consequences, right? What creates an unhealthy workplace. But the surprising thing is the way to get to a healthy, active workplace is surprisingly simple. It's the everyday, it's the mindful interaction that you have with each other, that you sit down when you're having coffee, you have coffee with the person without any expectation or judgment, not because you want them to give you a better rating tomorrow. But if you're in the moment with them with no other agenda, you will see that something very different comes out of it, which is trust, which is shared beliefs, which is a shared vision. Why do you think we have fun with our coworkers? Because we don't have the same expectations as we have from our managers. And so, if we were able to just let go of our expectations from our managers, we see them as a way to get us more salary, to get us more, you know, respect and status and materialistically more pleasure. And so we fall into that need for wanting more through this channel sometimes. And now I'm generalizing, but also then having very simple ways of addressing concerns to say, this is really what I want, manager, in the right, healthy way is the best way to do it. We often also try to skip what our responsibilities are. I don't like to do something, I will try to shortcut it, or and so what we've done with teams is look at where are you trying to become more efficient and what is the cost of efficiency. So that is another conversation we're having. So I think more meaningful discussions about what we think of routines, but how we can make them more energizing, more useful. That is the kind of work we do. And I think those are tips. So coming back to tips, a few, if I have to say, just mindful meetings every morning, like a catch up to say, how am I feeling today? Oh, my dog was crying all night and he wasn't well, so I couldn't sleep well. So being able to talk about what your day feels like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling 100% of your capacity or maybe 20 today because your baby was unwell? Being vulnerable and honest with each other, which we've stopped doing at workplaces. So it's a little bit of give and take that we can initiate.
Much important thing to do on an everyday basis.
I agree.
We do it among our co-workers though, but not as a team together.
Right.
Maybe that should be followed sometime, which will increase team building and engagement. Probably, yeah. So
Absolutely.
you bring a unique approach with your certifications in trauma-based coaching. How has this perspective influenced your mindfulness programs and leadership development initiatives?
Right. Thank you. I think that's a very powerful question. So, um, I went into working on trauma for a very different reason. It was personal work that I wanted to do. And I realized that it's not just me, but there's a lot of other people who bring trauma, which is unhealed from when they've been brought up, since childhood. And those those unhealed wounds actually show up in the workplace in different ways. Sometimes they know what to do about it. Sometimes they are caught by surprises themselves. And I think there is a place for trauma in the workplace. There is a place for how trauma is handled at the workplace. And we need to have ways to manage and create that space for people who are handling trauma. That is the need for this new workplace we're saying. It's difficult for everyone to just leave their unhealed trauma selves back at home. It's not possible. It will show up in surprising ways. And I think the amount of psychology that has been shunned because it's pop psychology, I think needs to be reevaluated, because we are seeing more and more that we bring our full selves and we spend much longer at work, working longer hours now. So, I mean, trauma is something that I could go on talking for a while, but yeah, I mean,
Did you
it's suffice to, yeah, suffice to,
counseling for the employees, or how is that?
sorry, can you repeat that question? I think we
So
were.
you were mentioning that there is a trauma that's been carried, and there is a place for trauma in the workplace. So if somebody has to get rid of it or something, is it that the company has to provide some counseling or something to the employees? How does that work?
And that is another conversation. I mean, different companies can look at it in different ways.
Mhm.
Um, we have we have now then been able to tie up companies to see when they work, they bring in coaches, but also counseling services to to the team. So there are different ways to handle it, but I believe that we don't have to fix trauma. We just have to incorporate the trauma. And I think these parts cannot be shunned. These parts cannot be looked at as liabilities to say, oh my God, this part of me I don't like. So just keep it away. So, um, I think awareness is the first step, and then people who become aware of their own traumas will learn how to deal with it themselves. And organizations, in my opinion, and what I have seen work, is allow for space for that trauma to be healed. Whether the employee uses their channels or their personal channels is sometimes to them. So that is a conversation that can keep going. Yes.
So this is going to be my last question for you. So what's next for Conscious Together? How do you envision the future of mindful leadership and workplace connection evolving in the coming years?
Thank you so much. I think from a Conscious Together perspective, we're looking at bringing tools which will help us improve our focus and attention, psychology based, research and evidence based tools which will help people take the quickest action to make the biggest impact on their day. Having said that, the amount of technology we have around it while it can be overwhelming to some, it is important that we en- encompass that technology into human mechanisms to make the best use of it. So I see a vision where people are reliant on technology to improve efficiency or improve task related outcomes, but then they're also more self reliant, that they're also more self aware, that they're also more giving than hoarding just for themselves. So I think there is a balance that I can see as a vision for humanity through Conscious Together and what we offer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Avanti. Is there anything that you want to communicate to our GHRC members?
So, thank you, Ritika, for that question. Conscious Together is a combination of international talent who's worked on psychology based, MBCT based tools which help your organizations to become more mindful, yet more efficient, more productive, and more focused on their goals. If you would like to have a talk with us or one of our consultants, please let us know. You can reach us through our website at www.conscious-together.com, or you can simply drop me a DM on LinkedIn. Find us on Instagram, where we're not very active. We're trying to be mindful with LinkedIn, but we're happy to start a conversation to look at how we could bring benefit to your team and team members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Avanti, for sparing this time and spending it with me and the GHRC members. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ritika, a special mention for your contribution. I think it really helped move the conversation along. So thank you.
Thank you.